We're going to go ahead and call the, Schaumburg Village Board to order for Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. First order is, will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Patel.
Present.
Trustee Clare.
Present.
Trustee Sullivan.
Present.
Trustee Dunham.
Present.
Trustee Madej.
Present.
Trustee Bishki.
Present.
President Daly.
Present. All present and accounted for. I'd ask if Trustee Patel would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Patel. I would like to remind people that if you have any cell phones, any other type of electronic devices that make noise, you please put them on mute for the meeting so as to not disrupt the proceedings here this evening. Next item is the approval of minutes from July 25th, 2023.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
The motion and a second to approve is presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
One abstention.
One abstention. Thank you.
I wasn't here.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is the approval of expenditures for $3,773,569.88.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve as presented. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Patel.
Aye.
Trustee Clare.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishki.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Liquor license requests, we have none for this evening. Next item is the consent agenda, which will be read in its entirety. Voted on as one motion to approve. If you wish to discuss an item further, please indicate that when the item is read by the village clerk so that it can be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further under committee reports. Otherwise, all items will be approved as presented on the consent agenda in one motion to approve. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Number 1, correspondence. A, the motion would be to approve the request from the Schaumburg Firefighters Benevolent Association to hold a raffle on September 16th, 2023 at Olympic Park, 1675 Old Schaumburg Road, and to grant a variance to Municipal Code Section 117.31. B, the motion would be to approve the request from Schaumburg Firefighters Benevolent Association to hold a raffle on September 16th, 2023 at Olympic Park, 1675 Old Schaumburg Road. C, the motion would be to approve the request from Friends of Schaumburg to hold a raffle on August 13th, 2023 at St. Peter Lutheran Church, 202 East Schaumburg Road, and to waive the fidelity bond requirement. D, the motion would be to approve the request from Schaumburg Dance Ensemble to hold raffles on November 30th through December 10th, 2023 at the Al Larson Prairie Center for the Arts, 201 Schaumburg Court during the Nutcracker, and to waive the fidelity bond requirement. E, the motion would be to approve the request from the Schaumburg Business Association to hold a raffle on August 31st, 2023 at Woodfield Mall, 5 Woodfield Mall, and to waive the fidelity bond requirement. F, the motion would be to approve the request from District 54 Education Foundation to hold a raffle on September 23rd, 2023 at School District 54 Professional Learning Center, 522 East Schaumburg Road. 2, liquor licenses. The motion would be to approve the request from Mr. James Wasaki of the Firefighters Benevolent Association for one Class D, one-day liquor license for the charity softball event on Saturday, September 16th, 2023 from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. at Olympic Park, 1675 Old Schaumburg Road, and waive the fee. 3, Engineering and Public Works Committee. A, the motion would be to authorize the village president and village clerk to execute an intergovernmental agreement for construction access of the Springenskooth West Branch to Page River Stream Corridor Improvement Project with the Schaumburg Park District and approve the required resolution. B, the motion would be to waive competitive bidding and authorize participation in the interlocal purchasing system cooperative contract and award the Prairie Center for the Arts Theater carpet replacement and epoxy flooring project to Diversify of Itasca, Illinois, in the amount of $114,106.30. C, the motion would be to waive competitive bidding and award plumbing repairs and maintenance to Anchor Mechanical of Chicago, Illinois, for a term of 1 year with optional one-year extensions not to exceed the approved budget. D, the motion would be to authorize the village president and the village clerk to execute an intergovernmental agreement for snow and ice control services with Palatine Township Road District and approve the required resolution. E, the motion would be to approve the practice of prioritization of parkway tree replacements. 4, Health and Human Services Committee. A, the motion would be to approve an agreement with Owens and Associates of Schaumburg, Illinois, to provide contracted mental health therapeutic services from August 1st, 2023 through January 31st, 2024, for a total cost not to exceed $73,200 and approve the required resolution. B, the motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Leading Healthy Futures of Chicago, Illinois, for the purpose of conducting Phase 1 of Health Services Needs Assessment in the amount of $56,100. 5, Plan Commission. A, the motion would be to approve a floor area ratio FAR credit approval for Indraganti Residence 403 Lexington Drive. B, the motion would be to deny variations to size of a detached accessory structure or garage at 901 Dartmouth Lane.
Poll, please.
6, Zoning Board of Appeals. A, the motion would be to approve a special use for an internet auto sales facility for Bravo Auto Sales, 502 Morse Avenue, Unit C. B, the motion would be to approve a special use amendment for retail tobacco sales for Formari Lounge, 305 West Gulf Road, Gulf Point Plaza Shopping Center. C, the motion would be to approve sign variations for Dave & Buster's, 601 North Martingale Road, Suite 115. 7, award of bid. The motion would be to award the bid for Old Schaumburg Center fence project to the lowest responsible bidder, Fence Connection, Inc., of Elgin, Illinois, in the amount of $51,960. 8, traffic agreement. The motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute the traffic agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and Zurich American Insurance Company located at 1299 Zurich Way. B, the motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute the traffic agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and IKEA U.S. Retail LLC store, number 210, located at 1800 McConnor Parkway. C, the motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute the traffic agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and 12 Oaks at Schaumburg Condominium Association for the property located at 120 Kristen Circle. 9, resolutions. The motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-063, authorizing the village president and village clerk to execute an intergovernmental agreement for construction access of the Spring and Goose West Branch DuPage River Stream Corridor Improvement Project with the Schaumburg Park District. B, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-064, authorizing the village president and the village clerk to execute an intergovernmental agreement for snow and ice control services with the Palatine Township Road District. C, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-065, approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement between the Village of Schaumburg and Owens and Associates Counseling and Therapy Center. D, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R23-066, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement to conduct phase 1 of a health services needs assessment with Henry Street Solutions, Inc., doing business as Leading Healthy Futures. 10, ordinances. The motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-067, granting a special use for an internet auto sales facility for Bravo Auto Sales, 502 Morse Avenue, Unit C.
I'd like to pull that one, please, and the previous mention also.
I'm not understanding. So you want to pull this ordinance?
Yeah, well, I
for
want to pull-
Bravo Auto Sales?
Yeah, for the internet auto sales. I should have said something.
And he also wants to pull A under zoning.
6A.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
This next one, or do I leave that as? Okay. B, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-068, granting a special use amendment for retail tobacco sales for Mary Lounge, 305 West Gulf Road, Gulf Point Plaza Shopping Center. C, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-069, granting sign variations for Dave & Buster's, 601 North Martingale Road, Suite 115. D, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 23-070, granting approval of a floor area ratio, FAR, credit approval 403 Lexington Drive. That concludes the consent agenda.
So, quick question.
Yes, question?
Yeah, since the first ordinance item was pulled, should the ordinances be renumbered?
Not necessarily.
They don't need to be? No. Okay.
I look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as read with item B under Plan Commission being pulled for further discussion, which is 501 Dartmouth Lane, and then item A under Zoning Board of Appeals, which has to do with Bravo Auto Sales, and ordinance A, also having to do with the same Bravo Auto Sales.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as read with the items I mentioned removed. Will the clerk please pull the board?
Trustee Patel?
Aye.
Trustee Clare?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Madey?
Aye.
Trustee Bischke?
Aye.
Thank you.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Moving on to committee reports. I am going to suggest, if the board concurs, that we deal with the item on the zoning board first, Bravo Auto Sales, and ask Trustee Dunham to proceed.
We've had several requests like this over the years, and practically every one of them has resulted in violations of parking, stacking, excess vehicles on the property, far beyond the number of vehicles that the business operator said they were going to have. And I'd like to know what reassurance and what guarantee we can expect from this operator that that isn't going to happen in this case.
The petitioner come forward, please.
Hello, everyone.
Please give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Juan Mota. You want the address of the business or my home address?
Business is fine.
Okay, it's 502 Morse Avenue, Unit C.
Okay, so please proceed with your answer.
Okay, we are in internet auto sales. We do not park cars outside, and we are allowed to park probably 2 cars. Since it's an internet auto sales, we purchase our cars through the internet. Okay, and as a small business, as a minority business, we're not buying like a big quantity, 20, 30 cars at a time. We're just buying 1 or 2 cars at a time, and we will store the cars inside Unit C.
What is your capacity for storage inside?
Capacity, we could do the repairs. You could store probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars for repairs, but you could store probably 2 cars or 1 car at a time for sale inside.
Okay, and then what, if you have 4 or 5 or 6 cars or whatever that you're, in various stages of working on, where are they going to be?
They're going to be in their available parking spaces. We have available parking spaces for Unit C.
Do you have a detailing business as well, or?
No, we don't.
I'm thinking of a different company.
We don't. We just do auto repair and auto sales.
Auto repair for the auto sales, or you are a repair facility and an internet?
Yes. The repair facility is owned by Mr. Garcia, okay, and he gives us a space there in the office so we could do the auto sales, internet auto sales. So we buy cars via internet, and we go get the cars. We check the cars, okay, so they could be drivable, and then we probably will have a person that asks for that car already, and it'll be sold. It'll be sold probably within a week or so.
I think the repairs he's referring to are just for the vehicles that they've purchased.
I don't know. Is that correct? The repairs that you do are only for the cars that you purchase, or are you also a repair facility where anybody can come in and have their car fixed?
Yes, it's a facility where anybody could come and have their cars repaired, okay? But I don't own that business.
Yeah, that's a separate building.
It's a separate
business,
Yeah.
correct?
It's a
Separate business with, under the same roof?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Anything further?
evidently not.
Yes, trustee Madej.
Is that automotive repair shop an existing business?
It's an existing business, yes, sir.
So they have a business license with us?
Yes, they do. Garcia Auto Repair has a business license with you, with the village of Schaumburg.
Anything further? Harry?
Well, I want to clarify something.
Okay, please proceed. Come up to the podium.
It's not storing the
All right.
cars there. Terry
Okay.
Ramondi, Chairman of Zoning Board. Unless that's changed in zoning, they're selling, when they have the cars that they're going to sell, they're at a location outside of the village. So this is only an office, and then when they do have to do repairs, they're still using the auto repair facility that's their office is in. So they only have an office here.
The storage is not going to be in
Storage
the
is
village.
Dreamwood or something like that.
Yeah, we
Right.
got to store somewhere else, in Elgin.
I think that's where the confusion was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It just, those are conditions that, of the approval from the ZBA was, the first condition was that everything has to be within the enclosed building except for the arrival and departure of vehicles. And the second was that once vehicles are ready for sale, they'd be stored off-site at a location outside of the village.
Okay. Anyone on the board, anything further? Any other questions? No? Okay.
I would move to accept the recommendation of the Zoning Board of Appeals
Second.
to waive first reading and to adopt as ordinance 23-067, granting a special use for an internet auto sales facility for Bravo Auto Sales, 502 Morse Avenue, Unit C.
Second.
Seconded by trustee
Claire.
Clark. Any further discussion? Look for the clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Patel?
Aye.
Trustee Claire?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Madej?
Aye.
Trustee Bischke?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Approved. Next item is an item that I asked to be pulled off because I assume there'll be some discussion on it, so I asked that it be pulled off. And this is for, it's a recommendation to deny a variation for a detached accessory structure, a garage at 501 Dartmouth Lane. I'm going to ask, we are not going to have a rehearing of the zoning board. The village board has all the minutes verbatim. We have all the material that the zoning board had. We have everything that they were seen and given, and so we're not going to spend an hour or two rehearing that hearing. but I will ask that staff come up, participants come up, and just give brief background, just so that we all know exactly what it is. And then I'm going to ask for the chairman of the Plan Commission to come up afterwards.
Good evening. Thank you. Before you tonight is a request for two variations at 501 Dartmouth with respect to a detached garage. The petitioner received a building permit for improvements at their property that included a driveway extension on the side of their home and also pouring a concrete pad for a detached garage. The petitioner had been in communication with staff and desired to have a garage that exceeded the code requirements, both with respect to the allowable square footage and the depth of the garage. So the petitioner, the Plan Commission heard the request at a public hearing on July 19th. The petitioner provided with their application the justification for the hardship, along with a petition that had been signed by some adjacent properties. Staff evaluated the request. We looked at the configuration of the parcel. We looked at the potential precedent for other similar requests in the village. And then, of course, we looked at all the information that was provided by the petitioner. Staff made the determination that we were not in support of the variation, mostly due to the precedent and a lack of us finding a hardship that was specific to this property. So that's a kind of a quick summary of the request, and the Plan Commission did recommend denial. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, I'm going to ask the chairman, Dave Utley, to please come up and give us a brief recap of the zoning board. Again, we have all the minutes.
This wasn't one of our longer meetings, so it will be brief. Petitioner came before the Plan Commission with the request for the variation to increase from the village ordinance of 600 feet to 720 feet for a two-car garage with a man door for entry that would be on the left rear portion of their property. They'd already had the pad as well as the driveway going there. After hearing, 2 members voted in favor of the motion to approve the variation. 4 members voted against it. There were a number of people that were present at the hearing, spoke in favor of the petition. No one spoke against it in the audience. So I think that's the brief summary.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kane is here, by the way.
Yes, I was going to ask the petitioner. Who's the petitioner here? Oh, okay. Will you please come forward?
Good evening, Mayor
Okay,
and
and
Board of
you do
Trustees.
understand what I explained?
I listened very carefully.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
thank you for William Graft and Jordan, 2500 West Higgins, Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Thank you for your service. We know it's not easy on a summer evening. I was a trustee of Harper College for 6 years. You're here because you want to help residents. Mr. Kane is here. We have a couple of, if you'll grant us some time in the professional courtesy, 10 minutes. If that's a no, then we understand.
Well,
we understand you
we're
have the
looking-
minutes.
You know, again, we have all the material here. We've had opportunities to review it all. So give us a summary of where you're at, whether you want to do it or Mr. Kane wants to do it. Either way, it's up to you.
Mr. Kane would like to address, he's one of
Okay.
your residents, so he'd like to do it. I'm an agent.
And
And
assume we will
Mr.
have some-
Hovani is here. He was the head of planning for
We'll
10 years.
Probably have some questions.
He and I are pro bono, so we're here for any questions.
Okay.
The main point is your staff did a great job looking at this, but they didn't understand the hardship, and your criteria could be viewed as defective because your variance criteria relates to commercial properties. You don't have one that's specific for residential properties, and that's something you can clean up or not clean up, as you call. This is a 5-foot variance. The reason there are 2 variances is the area. The staff did a great job just summarizing, but one thing he said, a few people resident, this was a unanimous, that every neighbor, contiguous and non, in the area, well beyond your notice provision, signed a petition in favor of this variance. So those are your residents, and they think this is a reasonable request. And the most important point that I would say, and then I'll let Mr. Kane speak and any questions, You have a rear yard variance criteria in addition to the size and the square footage of the garage, and that's 0.34 FAR. Your trustees, it's a technical issue. Your requirement is 0.4. We are 6% less than your rear yard area allows. We're underbuilt with this garage. That's 0.34 FAR for the record, 0.34 FAR for the 5-foot variance and the size limit. So we're still, if it was granted, that you would still be 6% under your rear yard. This is an area with very small homes. This is a split-level home and large lots. It's 10,000 square foot lot. The footprint is just over 1,000 feet. So we're 10% FAR that. So Mr. Kane would like to speak, and thank you, Mayor, for your time.
We do know who you are, but just for the record, give us your name and address.
My name is Jason Kane, 501 Dartmouth Lane, and thank you for your time. So I'm just asking for 5 feet, what I need. I mean, of course, I would love more, but 5 feet's what I need. I have a lot of construction equipment. I have classic cars. I coach SAA football. I'm actually on a board. I have equipment. I left early tonight from practice. But 5 feet is what I need. You know, this process, you know, I did, just kind of update you guys real quick. I pulled the permit for 600 square feet, and there was a big snafu with the contractor, and I had to have it all dug up and redone. So I saw what that was, and I said, oh my God, this is really small for, you know, if I can just get 5 feet more, because that's what I need to be able to store everything I have and keep the property, you know, it'll make the property look nicer. I'm assuming the value go up. But, you know, so I did ask, you know, to be able to pour it 5 feet bigger. And, you know, and then worry about it later, because the whole summer was spent going back and forth with the old contractor to get my money back, because I had to pay him half after the first day. So here I am with this, but, you know, it's not for any other reason but for storage. It's not to work on cars. There's some neighbors here that can testify. I've been here maybe 14, 15 years, and I haven't ever worked on a car at home. Nor do I really have the time to do that anyway, because I'm so busy with things. But to my knowledge, this is the only, everything is within code except the 5 feet. And, you know, I mean, the footprint is there already with the concrete, but it doesn't, I think Public Works looked at it, doesn't oppose any problems with the land and water runoff, everything like that, along with over 130 signatures from all the neighbors. If you start at the bottom of the block, go all the way to Dedham, everybody signed. Every neighbor that touches my house and across the street hand wrote letters. I think you guys have that. The blocks behind us, the blocks in front of us, everybody signed, except a few here and there that weren't home, but there was nobody that said no to it. And on the petition itself, it did state that everybody signed and also put their phone number on. It doesn't give them the right, any more right to do this, because, you know, if I were granted it. So that's pretty much my, you know, and I do know, I mean, this was like, I have friends in a village, you know, this is still fairly reasonable, I think. I mean, if I go down the street, there's a 40-foot garage. He did build that, from what I understand, before you guys started this permit. But there's many bigger garages all over the village. I think what I'm asking for is very reasonable. You know, I've had buddies within the last few years. I know a friend of mine, Mike Nolan from Lexington Fields, he was approved for one, and then he moved out of town and moved to St. Charles. But from what I understand, he didn't really have a hardship. But I think what I'm asking for is very reasonable.
I'm familiar with the Nolan case. He also was on a half acre of land.
Okay.
So, maybe 3/4, but either way, much larger piece of land. Anything else?
That's pretty much it. Okay. I don't know if you have any questions for me or.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to ask. Questions from the board. Well, Trustee Claire, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, you realize you're asking, it's not just 5 feet, you're asking for 120 square feet bigger than our ordinance allows.
Yes.
And you were aware of that when you re-poured that slab the second time, right?
Yeah, I was kind of put in a situation where I had to, so my whole property was mud. It wasn't just the concrete that was screwed up. He drove the tractor through the yard. I had to have my whole yard re-landscaped. The fences were knocked down. Brick walls were cracked. The whole front yard was all mud. So I was kind of in a situation where, like, I had to do this now. And, you know, I just figured, I didn't realize that this was going to be, you know, such a hall like this, I thought 5 feet was very reasonable.
But it's 120 square feet,
Yes.
so it's quite a bit. And you know, the issue is that, you know, you were aware of it when you pulled the permit.
Sure. But I
So
was-
you didn't call code enforcement or community development or anybody and
Oh, no, I
ask?
did. So I called.
And what did they say?
Well, I mean, I pulled the permit. They allowed me to pour that.
Right.
And when
I'm
I
aware
talked,
of that, we have it, yeah.
you know, they explained that I had to go through the variance process. He explained that they might not be in favor of it.
Correct.
But I
And
mean,
you took the risk.
I did take the risk, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And
I'm trying to grasp of what the hardship is.
the hurt for storage. You know, these houses were built without barely any storage.
But you
And I-
still have the existing garage too, right?
Yes, I still have the existing. I do have a couple classic cars, construction cement mixers, ladders, all saws, all this stuff, football equipment, bags. I mean, even the commissioner was supposed to show up tonight from the football league, but they're coming back from Mackinac Island. So
Yeah, see, because, you know, we have these ordinances set. I mean, I spent, like many other people on the board, many years on zoning and planning, and we have these ordinances set for the whole, globally, for the whole village, so that the whole village doesn't end up, you know, like Mayor Daley was saying, the other one you mentioned was a half or three-quarter acre lot. That's, you know, it's a little different. You know,
So-
if everybody on your block or in your area started building garages that size, it might be offensive to some people, and it might change the character of the neighborhood.
but I mean, everybody signs, you know. But
They're not
so
going to be
how-
there forever.
So how big was Mike Nolan's garage?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think, wasn't his quite bigger than mine?
Not much.
I don't remember exact size of it, but I do know location of where it was going to be.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it seems like more of the hardship is the fact that you took the, you know, the risk, and knowingly, which we have part of our packet, that you could be, may or may not be approved, you know, which
Right.
will remain to be seen, you know, this evening. And now it's a hardship for you for that, but that isn't really a hardship. That's, you know, it's a man-made hardship.
Right, right. Well, my hardship is storage.
Well, okay. I'm done.
I was aware of the risk, but my hardship was storage.
Right, but I mean, what were you doing before with all that stuff?
I was outside. My garage is packed. My garage is still packed. I mean, you can barely walk into it. I mean, it was in the backyard. You know, and that was, you know, the reason to build a garage. But after seeing that original pad, I realized how small it was.
I'm going to ask a question. So you're with SAA.
Yes.
Why do you not store the SAA equipment at SAA? We gave them a building for $1.
Yes. So they do store equipment there. I actually train kids out of my house for football. So I have all the equipment there, bags there, not for SAA, but my own equipment.
So,
And I have-
and I'm going to ask the rest of the board for any other questions, but
I do
the
have.
issue here is, we started out years ago at no size, which is how some got in much larger. And then we went to a size of 500 square feet,
Right.
maybe year 2000 or something, I forget. And then came back and changed that and said you could be 600 square, well, it could be 500 square feet and then 150 with a shed in addition. Then it got changed, and we had complaints saying, well, it doesn't match, you know, 500 square feet is an odd size, it doesn't work if you go around, and so we checked Home Depot and all the other places, and they came back, and really 600 feet was more logical. It fit the sizes of garages. So we upped it to 600 and still allowed the 150 square feet for the shed. So, and now you want us to up that to 720, which is again, making another step up, with the understanding is, we give it to you, we're going to end up being stuck giving it to everybody else. So that's the thing we're going to struggle with here, is to, you know, where do you stop? All right, 1,000, 1,200? You know, you're this. Find it interesting. Your garage is your garage you're proposing is 24 feet wide.
Yes.
Your house is 24 feet wide.
Okay, okay.
Or, I'm sorry, yeah, width,
Deep.
24 feet wide. The garage to be 30 feet, your home is 44. It's only 14 feet longer than or 14 feet less than your home.
Right.
It's about 68% of the size of your home. And at 15 feet, it's well over 1 story.
Correct.
Stories typically being 10 feet tall. So, and it's what I saw in here was the garage door itself is supposed to be 9 feet tall.
I believe it was 8 feet. Should be 8 feet.
Well, it says 16 by 7, and then another place it says it's 16 by 9.
It should be 7 or 8, not 9. Because my existing garage door is like 6 foot. I mean, I can't even park my truck in my garage now.
Well, I was just curious on that
Yeah.
size thing there because it was confusing, given it different.
And all I wanted was to be able to park my
All right,
vehicles.
other questions from the board? Anyone else? Over here? No?
I mean, I've largely the same concerns and comments that you and trustee Claire have said as well, is that, you know, the concern really is, as Mayor Daley said, is where do we stop? So we have an ordinance. You knew about the ordinance before you started construction. Your permit says 600 square feet.
Right.
But you chose to go outside of that.
Right.
The process should have been to come through this process before you did any of that, so that there would be no ambiguity and no uncertainty when you did your concrete work, so.
Sure.
I'm not in favor of increasing the size and setting a precedent for dozens or even more than that, other homeowners that want to build massive garages in their backyard.
I mean, it doesn't, it is quite of an investment. I mean, I don't think it's something that everybody can do. And the fact that they all signed a petition stating that they know it doesn't give them any more right to do this than I did. I mean, it's quite a process to go through this. I don't think this is something easy that somebody can just, hey, let's.
No, it's certainly.
But it does give them the same right
Yeah.
to go through and do the same thing, because it's called a precedent. We would set a precedent to allow larger, garages in the properties, and we would be inundated with other homeowners that want to do the same thing.
Your attorney will tell you that. I mean, once we do one, now they come back and somebody comes back and says, well, I get this guy over here at 501, he did this.
Sure.
Why can't I only want 700 feet. I don't even want I'm not looking at 720 square feet. I'm looking at 700. I'm going to be a little less than him. Why can't I do the same thing
But
with
isn't
him?
that what the variance process is for?
I understand, but once you do that, you get the court, your attorney will tell you, you get the court, and the judge is going to say, you did it over here, you can do it here.
Mayor, you did mention, and I'll just closing statements. You have an FAR, you have this criteria, and we're all adults. There's no precedent legally. This is a variance process. That's why it's a variance. So there isn't a precedent to this, and we'll stand on that. If you approve him or deny him, it doesn't mean anything for anyone else. And the 600 is arbitrary. I appreciate the history, legislative history that you've provided, Mayor. There's no precedent in granting him or denying him. Every case is unique. That's why you have a variance process. And I would suggest that since we're all adults, study that a little bit more. You'll find out that I can't agree with you, Mayor. I'm sorry. There's no precedent. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Sure. So, yes, I'm going to get to that in just a minute. I want to see if there's any more questions from here for the
One
petitioner. Yes.
correction, on the item B on the Plan Commission, the address is incorrect. It says 901, just so for the record, so. But other than that, nothing.
Anyone else from the board? No? Okay. So, don't go away. We'll see if there's anyone from the audience that wishes to come up and speak to this item. Please come forward. Up. You can sit down if you want, but don't go too far.
I did write
Thank you.
down what I want to say. My
So
name
you-
is Heather
Yes, thank you.
Tornabene. I live at 414 Cedar Crest Drive. Been there almost 13 years. I was at the last hearing and just very moved by this case. Obviously a friend of Jason. He coaches my son in football. His wife works for District 54. These are people who give back to our community, and I feel happy to be here representing someone who's asking for something simple as 5 feet in his own property. So therefore, I'm going to just read what I wrote, because I wrote it out because I don't want to get nervous and forget anything. So here we go. If you want Schaumburg to prosper, evolve, and grow, then you have to let the residents prosper, evolve, and grow. Businesses are expanding and growing. Schools are expanding and growing. Areas of land that were empty are now being filled with homes that are being built. Current residents should be able to and need to be able to expand and grow also. Change is hard, but change is necessary. The rules that were set in place long ago no longer make sense today. As it was mentioned at the last board meeting, if this gets passed, then that could potentially mean more residents coming forward with similar expansions of their property. As if that was something bad? What exactly are we afraid of? No one's going to drive through the neighborhood here and feel negatively about homes that are tastefully building on, building up, growing, and expanding, just as our community is. It is time for change. It is time to reassess old rules that were put in place to accommodate new times and a new generation. The Kane family is asking for 5 feet onto their own property. Hey, look at me. I'm 5 feet. Not too bad. I've never offended anybody yet. They are expanding out on their own property, not up. The garage is set back behind their house, so this addition will not be some sort of eyesore. I want to say, speaking of eyesore, there are plenty of new construction, ginormous houses that are being built right next to tiny old ranch houses. But yet somehow that's approved? The Kane family has over 100 signatures of the surrounding neighbors who have approved this build to let them expand to fit their needs. As residents are approved for additions onto their houses, seasons rooms, 3 seasons rooms, 4 seasons rooms, we have neighbors behind us who expanded 17 feet to make their house bigger. All he's asking for is 5 feet. Personally, as a Schaumburg resident of almost 13 years with children, I'd like to see less cannabis shops being built, less gambling shops being built, and more homes able to expand and grow to make room for their families' needs. I appreciate and thank you for this time. I truly hope you consider letting the Kane family, who are a great part of our community and give back in so many ways, expand and grow to fit their needs. People are not going to want to live or move to a town where they are stuck in a box set by the code. They are going to want to have the right to build up, build out on their own property that they pay taxes for to accommodate their family's needs. Be the change this town needs. It's 2023, and it's time to reassess old ways and old rules for the new generation that's coming in. I truly thank you for your time, and I hope you consider the things that I said. Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name's Glenn Thill from 2016 Farnham Court. Hello, board. Nice to see you guys again. You know, I really can't follow that. I mean, she had such a great speech. It is only 5 feet, and I get the code, I get the variances, I get it all, everything with the, you know, the square footage as well. I get that. I think they're also adding in that height. But, I mean, we have approved in this village other McMansions, as she had mentioned, that do look horrible right next to a one-level house. So that's pretty much all I have. You know, he's a great leader in the community. He's doing good stuff for kids. And, you know, he also runs a transmission shop. So during the day, he's at work. And trust me, I know that some of the concerns were that he would bring some work home, but he doesn't do that. He's got other activities that fill his time. And he's well respected within the community, just to let you guys know. I'm sure you guys have already heard that, though. And I would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello.
Thank you.
My name is Jim Lum. I live on 434 Dartmouth Lane, right across the street from him, so I get to see everything he does. Okay. And then so, well, everything, you know, ever since he moved in about 14 years ago, he's been doing everything. He's been improving his house. It looks great. And he's a real thorough guy. And I just want to support him because everything he does is on the up and up. And every time when I see him do something, I always go over and ask him, what are you doing? You know, I want him to help me do mine. And then so I'm one of 130 people that signed the petition to have him get his project done. And I just want to say he's a great guy. Ever since I've known him, he's been helping me out. And I hope you guys approve it. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Anyone else? So let me say, no one is questioning who you are, your integrity, what type of person you are. That's not the question that is before the board. The question is, this is asking for a variation, and variations are based upon hardship. It has nothing to do with the individual. It has to do with the hardship of wanting to do this because of some sort of hardship. You've indicated the hardship, in your case, is lack of storage with where you're at, and that's the reason that you're extending your request. So I want to make sure that's clear. It has nothing to do with you as an individual. It has to do with and that's how we look at these cases. So any other questions from the board? All right, you've all had an opportunity to review all the material. You understand what is before us with regards to the petitioner's request, what their history has been on garage, detached garages, and even building additions. So I'm going to look for a motion then to decide where we go from here. Before us is the recommendation is a denial from the Plan Commission. So I'm looking for either a concurrence with that or a change to recommend approval. Anyone?
I will make a motion to concur with the Plan Commission's recommendation and deny the variation request.
Second. The motion and a second to deny the variation request. Will the clerk please pull the board?
Trustee Patel?
Aye.
Trustee Clare?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Madej?
Aye.
Trustee Bischke?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The motion is denied.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Mayor, Board of
Okay.
Trustees.
Moving on in the agenda, we have those committee reports. We're moving on to comments from the public. This is an opportunity for anyone wanting to discuss items pertinent towards the Village of Schaumburg to hold forth and state your comments. Next item is council report.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay, President's report. I thought I had something. I have, can't seem to find it, so, or maybe I covered it last time and just don't remember it. Any rate, move on to manager's report.
I have no report this evening.
New business. Any new business? There is nothing on the agenda. Unfinished business, we have nothing. Trustee comments and mentions. Any trustee comments and mentions? No. Okay. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.